You've been sitting on an idea for 2 years. You've been saying, when I'm more prepared, when the timing is right, when I feel ready. But let me tell you something that nobody else is going to say to your face today. Ready is a feeling, and feelings lie. All right. And while you've been waiting to feel it, someone less qualified, less gifted, and less called than you already shaped their version of your dream. Now, this video is for you, so you have to stay with me. Welcome back. If you're new here, I'm glad you found this today, because I don't believe you stumbled in by accident. Today, we're going to be talking about one of the most spiritually disguised trap that talented people fall into. Now, it doesn't look like laziness. It doesn't look like fear. It looks responsible. It looks like wisdom. It looks like I'm just preparing. All right. But there is a thin, dangerous line between preparation and procrastination dressed in a suit. And by the time this video is over, I believe you will have the clarity and the courage to finally move. Let me take you back to one of the most audacious leadership moments in all of Scripture. Moses is standing at the edge of the Red Sea. Pharaoh's army is thundering behind him. 2 million terrified Israelites are screaming. The water isn't parting yet. And God says something stunning in Exodus chapter 14 verse 15. Why are you crying out to me? Tell the Israelites to move forward. Move forward into the water before it opens. All right. Moses wasn't ready. The people weren't ready. The conditions weren't ready. But God's instruction didn't wait for their readiness. It demanded their movement first. Here is what I want you to sit with. The miracle was on the other side of the step they hadn't taken yet. This is the myth of readiness. We assume the green light must come before the first move. But more often than not, God's design is the opposite. You don't get the confirmation, then take the step. You take the step and the confirmation meets you mid-stride. Think about where you are right now. The creative project, that ministry idea, that book you haven't written, that channel you haven't started, that business you've been researching for 18 months. What sea is God asking you to walk into? I believe in calling things what they really are. Most of the time, I'm not ready is not a statement of timing. It's a statement of fear wearing the costume of wisdom. Psychologists call it analysis paralysis. Scripture calls it something older. In Matthew 25, Jesus tells a parable of the talents. 3 servants, 3 different responses to the same trust placed in them. And the one who buried his talents, who did nothing, didn't say, I was lazy. Do you know what he said? He said, I was afraid. Fear. That's the root. All right. And here is what fear does. It makes inaction feel like a virtuous choice. It whispers, you need more training. What if you fail publicly? What will they think? That is what will people think. You don't have everything figured out yet. And here is the brutal truth about perfectionism that nobody tells creatives and leaders early enough. Perfectionism is not a high standard. It is a hiding strategy. You are not waiting because you want it to be excellent. You are waiting because excellence is a safe reason to never be exposed. I know that lands very hard for you, all right? But the people who needed to hear it know exactly what I'm talking about. Let me give you a real world picture of what waiting costs. Imagine 2 photographers, both equally talented. Now, one launches her Instagram portfolio in January, imperfect photos and all. Then the other spends January, February, and March perfecting her editing workflow, redoing her bio, and waiting until her website is complete. By April, the first photographer has 90 days of feedback, a small audience, 3 paying clients, and skills that grew in the fire of real experience. Now, the second one, she's still adjusting her font choice. Same gift, same starting point, radically different trajectories. Not because of talent, but because of timing and courage. Proverbs 13 verse 12 says something plainly. Hope deferred makes the heart sick. But the inverse is also the truth. All right. Every time you move in the direction of your purpose, even imperfectly, something comes alive inside you. Not planning, not researching, not watching others do it. Doing. And the world isn't just waiting for your product. It is waiting for your perspective, your voice, your angle. All right. There are people who will only receive what God has put in you, packaged exactly the way you package it. Every day you wait, they go without. Aye. That is not pressure. That is purpose. Now, if this is landing, do me a favor. Hit that like button right now, because the algorithm is notifying others about this wonderful video. And drop one word in the comments that describe what you've been putting off. Just one word. You don't need to explain it. Just name it, all right? There is power in naming what you've been avoiding. Now, so how do you actually do it? How do you break the paralysis? Number one, shrink the first step. Type it somewhere. Shrink the first step. The reason the step feels impossible is because you are looking at the whole staircase. Don't. Ask yourself, what is the smallest possible action I can take in the next 48 hours? Not launch the whole thing, all right? Just the next thing. Send the email, record the rough draft, all right? Write the first paragraph, post the imperfect version. David didn't walk out to Goliath thinking about all the armies he would command in one day. He picked up 5 stones and walked forward. Start where you are with what you have. Then number 2, redefine failure. In God's economy, the only real failure is the gift buried in the ground. Everything else, every awkward video, every rejected pitch, every underwhelming launch is curriculum. Yes, it is not failure. It is formation. Okay. 1 Corinthians chapter 1 verse 7 says something profound. It says, God chose the weak things of the world to shame the strong. God has a history of using underqualified, under-resourced, underconfident people to do extraordinary things. Because when you move in your weakness, His strength becomes the visible story. Then number 3, borrow your future self's courage. Close your eyes for a second and picture who you will be 5 years from now. If you move today, that person is seasoned, purposeful, and fruitful. And they are looking back at this exact moment. What are they saying to you? They are not saying, I'm so glad you waited until you felt ready. They are saying, I'm so glad you moved when it was still hard. All right. That is a moment everything changed. Be that person now. Make that decision your future self will thank you for. I want to close this with something pastoral right now, because I believe many of you watching this aren't just creatives or professionals. All right. You are people with a genuine call on your life. And I want to speak to that part of you directly. God is not looking for perfection before He moves through you. He never has been. He used a stumbling Moses, a doubting Gideon, a fisherman named Peter, who got out of the boat before he was sure the water would hold him. Hebrew 11, the great hall of faith, isn't a chapter about people who felt confident. It is a chapter about people who move in spite of how they felt. By faith, by faith, by faith. That is the word. Go and read it. You need to read that scripture. Every single one of them acted before the full picture was revealed. Your readiness is not the requirement. Your willingness is. Say yes to what God has placed in your hands today. All right? Not tomorrow. The world needs what is in you. Your community needs it. Your family needs it. And I believe with everything in me that God is waiting to meet you in the movement. Now, if this video stirred something in you today, share it with someone in your circle who has been sitting on their gift a little too long. All right? They need to hear this. And if you want more content on purpose, leadership, and growing into everything God designed you to be, subscribe and turn on your notifications. I'm building something here for people who are serious about not wasting their one life. I'll see you in the next one. Now, go move. God bless you.